Okay, so we were talking yesterday about asking questions regarding the Torah, regarding the mitzvot, and we also somewhat established that it's not enough just to have the just enough to have the mitzvot themselves. I mean, it's good for some people, but it's not really safe. Let's put it this way. And we said that emunah is good and important, but we need to have a little bit more than that. Now, we said yesterday that the whole purpose of men in this world is to really serve Akadosh Baruch Hu, and by serving Akadosh Baruch Hu, I'm actually doing what we call tikkun olam, taken olam b'malchut shakai, right? That's the tikkun olam. So avodat boreh, the serving Hashem, can only be done in this world, at least for us, because that's what we were geared for. It's only for us. Uh, so the question is like this: if we say that we came to fix this world, the Malchut Hashem, to fix, what do you learn from you say the word fix? The first thing that will come to your mind is that there is a certain lacking or there's something broken in that. So therefore, the question will be asked, okay, if that's what it is, what's broken? What's broken? And if we are already dealing with questions, so we should ask ourselves, what exactly is to serve Hashem? Does it really Akadosh Baruch Hu need us? What is the purpose? What's the point that we have in keeping the Torah mitzvot? And if I'm going to keep Torah mitzvot, if I'm going to keep Shabbat, how is this is really happening? You don't have answers for this thing. If you're going to look at a regular thing, answers for this thing could only be found if you're going to learn a little bit of what we call the Torah of Kabbalah. And this for the people who really are interested in understanding uh, how things are, how things work. And it's quite unique if you do so. I mean, these are really specific individuals, and I'm going to tell you why it's specific individual. We we uh, we get used to and trained, and we're going to say it many times over again, to see the final product. And not everybody is interested to do a thorough job to understand the whole purpose, the whole reason behind it. And we're going to expand on this maybe Bezat Hashem a little further down when we're going to do so. However, you should know that there is a big difference between a person who's just doing the mitzvot Torah by learning the pshat and so on and so forth, to a person who truthfully, though, and I'm saying truthfully, learns the pnimiyut of the mitzvah. Now, there are many people, and like everything, there is good and bad. Today, you can take those writings of the Ari and just, everyone can take it and read it, but that does not really mean that you know Kabbalah, you understand what's going on there. Okay, let's understand that. And of course, if you're doing so for the wrong reason, but very few people are interested in doing it for the right reason. But the difference is tremendous. The difference is tremendous. And let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, you had a person that for many years was very particular or keeping let's say, a healthy lifestyle. So he kept his proper diet, he exercised appropriately, he reduced the stress as much as he can, and so on and so on and so forth. Of course, a person like this has a tremendous amount of health that benefits it was going, and it was going through a whole list of things that he would have to do, and certain things that he should do, and certain things that he shouldn't be doing, and so on and so forth. But one day, and over time, he all of a sudden had the question and the curiosity why certain foods are not good for him to eat, and why this kind of mixture of food is take this food and that food is actually bad for you, it's not good for you. He wants to know how, let's say, the vitamins really work on your system. If I take, I don't know, vitamin D or vitamin C or vitamin whatever, how does it, I take it, but, what does it really do? How many people are doing like this? Or I don't know, enzyme and so on and so forth, taking this bacteria and on and on and on and on. And a person like this would not rest until he's going to sit down and he's going to learn all the biochemistry that he needed to go through, and he will go through all the different psychological aspects of having a stress over you and so on and so forth. But also he became so aware that it's not a problem for him anymore to avoid bad food or to do certain activities, and he understands that. However, a person that and it doesn't bother him because he has the understanding. However, a person that doesn't who doesn't do that, might say, all these years I haven't eaten whatever. Why? I think it was stupid, and then all of a sudden he starts eating it. The same thing, a person who's shomer Torah mitzvot, that doesn't have a wide, broad knowledge and understanding, might feel, and it's quite often, and to that matter, quite normal, that he might feel that certain mitzvot or doing certain mitzvot are somewhat of a burden. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you guys, and I said to you many times. How is it a burden? It's a burden only because you don't understand what is it about. It's like, and I like to use this example. If I would tell you, listen, there is a bag of, there's a knapsack here that weighs about, I don't know, 30 pounds or 40 pounds or 50 pounds. Now, you need to take it from street level all the way up to the top of the Empire State Building, and you cannot use any elevator. And you're going to say, okay, you tell me to do so, I do so, whatever, and then you're going to resent the fact that I'm doing this. Who are you to tell me to do so, and why you, and so on and so forth, and you end up not doing it. I said, okay, next. And then I go to the next person. I says, please take this bag and put it upstairs, take it upstairs to the top of the Empire State Building. And the guy says to me, I don't have a problem doing that, but why exactly should I be doing this? And I said to this person, it's going to be good for you. And the person says, okay, probably a matter of exercise. I'm going to go and going to bring it up like this. And I see that after a while, doing it once or twice, he's resenting that. And then I said to him, please take it and bring it up again. And he says to me, not a problem, I'll do so, but can you explain to me what's the benefit of that? And I'll say to this person, when you get up and you'll see it, open this thing when you get up and see it. And he opens up and he says, I don't know, let's say it's 50 pounds of gold. And I say, okay, now it's yours. Now you understand. So, oh, that wasn't a burden. If I will tell you, carry this bag that has 50 pounds of gold, pure gold, all the way up to the top of the Empire State Building, I don't think that many of you would complain knowing that you could actually have that, right? You say, I don't care, let it be, can you make it 100? You get to keep whatever you can carry up with you. So is that point is a burden? Therefore, when you feel a burden, it's either because you don't know what it is, you don't appreciate what it is, or you have a problem with your attitude. If you knew the quality, the real benefit of what's in your bag, you would ask for double the amount because you keep whatever you can bring up. So the same thing goes to mitzvot. The same thing goes to mitzvot. Now, and what we said before, sometimes because we don't really know, and the mitzvot seem sometimes a little bit weird for us. Sometimes you might find yourself in a defensive mode when you don't feel so strong and certain in what you're doing, and it'll be very difficult for you to explain certain things. Like, for example, I don't know, tefillah or different rituals that we do in Judaism. Why do I have to take the lulav and shake it like a lunatic like this, and so on and so forth, and a million different questions. And you would find that you would, many times you would see it, that just like in the other world, many people are influenced by the society, by the environment, and as such they were going to stop keeping mitzvot because of social pressure, societal pressure, whatever it is, and all of a sudden you find them not doing mitzvahs, which you see it many times when you have a group of, let's say, Israeli kids who are religious kids, and they go to the army, and they come out of the army, they go in with a kippah, and they come up without clothes. I mean, they come up not observant at all. And yet there are people that will be able to go in and out, and they're fine. Somebody once told me, he says to me, you want to evaluate your how, your faith, where you're holding, is go to a place that will challenge you. If you come out stronger, right, it means you're okay. If you, it's in other words, it's not a big trick to be religious in a ghetto. Everybody, or to be a chassid. Everybody, there's peer pressure, there's societal pressure. But let's see you staying religious and becoming more firm when you're in an environment that actually challenges you. Now, if you don't understand the pnimiyut of the mitzvot, you're going to find yourself on a defensive mode. And naturally, the defensive mode, you're going to come to resent that. And this is only because you don't really understand. So here comes the Kabbalah, right? And people, and by the way, there are people like this that they had the questions, but then they were either too embarrassed to ask, too whatever to ask, and they never ask, and then they lost. And yet there are people who are asking, but the asking is in order to understand. And that is a tremendous thing, that understanding that what the Kabbalah comes and gives us. And the Ramchal in his Sefer Milchemet Moshe writes the following: Da ki kol inyan Kabbalah, you should know, learning Kabbalah, Eino ela bi'ur mishpatei ha'ma'atzil yitbarach shemo, is the laws of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'seder chukot ha'anaga, and the laws of interaction. Ech ha'ma'atzil yitbarach, how HaKadosh Baruch Hu mesev u'manhig kol inyane olamo bechokma gdola. How HaKadosh Baruch Hu conducts the world. Now, what does it mean? It means the following: if you think that you're going to learn Kabbalah and have those powers to have influence on people, and you're going to do all kind of magic things, you are a fool, a son of a fool. The whole teaching of Kabbalah is how God interacts in the world, how the world operates. Understand, not manipulate. Those people who call themselves Mekubalim, most of them, not all of them, of course, there's some, most of them who call themselves Mekubalim, hardly give you a shot in the Gemara, but needless to say, don't understand anything of Kabbalah, because that's not what Kabbalah is all about. They just tell you how the world operates. What are the laws in which God had put in place for this universe, for this reality to operate? If you're not interested in that, you're not interested in Kabbalah. If you think Kabbalah is anything else, you are wrong. You're wrong. That's not what Kabbalah is all about. So that's in terms of that. And you should know also that the Kabbalah, as we said before previously, uses a very special language, uses a language of its own. It's a whole system, and they are redeveloped. It's a whole system that was developed. Just like math has its own language and rules, so is Kabbalah has it like that. And again, if we're going to ask ourselves why there are so few people who are bothered with the questions that we said, how does the world interact, how God interacts with the world, how I interact with God, and so on and so forth, the answer is we said to you, very, very, very simple. Life runs on two different plateaus. One of them is what we call the plateau, the materialistic, materialistic in terms of material plateau, and the one is the spiritual. The spiritual plateau really demands all its needs and has its laws from a whole system of of spiritual interactions and so on and so forth, just like as the body has, or this reality has a certain cause and effect and so on and so forth. There is the same thing in the spiritual world. But the spiritual world is not really that obvious. It's really in hiding. You need to reveal it. But there are laws by themselves as well. And this ability to reach to these laws is really saved by very few people who are looking to have a deeper meaning for their actions. So in other words, you cannot be, what I'm trying to tell you, cannot be a mekubal or learn Kabbalah before you start keeping the mitzvot and before you fix your attitude about what does it mean to be shomer Torah mitzvot, about what it is to be a Jew altogether. That's first of all. If you have a problem with that, or you have a problem with chachamim, with the rabbis and so on and so forth, you should not even get near to learning Kabbalah. It will be a waste of time and completely dangerous for you. Once a person work on his attitude, he has to understand, and he has the willingness, haratzon, the willingness to go and to ask questions in order to elevate and to increase his awareness, then he can start acquiring the language and the knowledge to understand what Kabbalah is. As we said to you before, as the Ramchal is, the whole Kabbalah is about understanding how HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in place and what are the laws that God had put in place, in all realms, both the spiritual and the physical world. And okay, so before we continue, I just want to remind everybody that thank you for our sponsors who continuously helping us, and some asked to stay anonymous. But thank you for all those people who help us throughout this time, difficult time, and bichlal altogether, time altogether. And to remind people to contact us if they have questions at rabbigaon@gmail.com. You can visit us on our website, yeshivaetzion.com. I don't know, we have Instagram, all this Instagram, Facebook, all this thing, grams over there. We're all in there, so you can check us out and you connect to us. Now, another thing I would like to ask is for people to simply spread the word out and just share that not only this, the time that we're learning in the mornings from 10 o'clock to 11:30, to 11, then from 11:30 to 1. And then at night again, we learn from 8 to 9 o'clock. And, I'm sure you could find some of the links to our connections online. So that's in terms of that. Tomorrow, I would like to talk to you about the certain difficulties of learning Kabbalah. And then after we finish with this, we're going to go into a bit of a theory, an introduction to the theories of Kabbalah, which we need to understand before we learn it. We must let go of everything that we knew beforehand. We have to start it with a clean page, and that's why I'm talking to you about the different the introduction to the introduction of Kabbalah, because we have to reach that next week, God willing, when we start learning the more theory of that. We have to start it with a clean slate. In other words, you can't come thinking that you have prior knowledge that because you don't. So please start with a clean slate, a clean page, and then we'll take it from there. Until that time, boys and girls, have a great day.